happening out there? Mr. Dave here, playing around with my camera here, my camera and my lighting. I'm learning how to do this stuff. I'll let my light bulb show up here. Yeah, get a little more light on that side there, and it's blinding me. So then I'm going to make this thing come down a little bit here. So I'm thinking about business stumbling blocks. We've talked about a little bit of that in the past already. And let's see, how's my lighting look? Yeah, it looks pretty good. So so I don't know if anybody's out there, but if you're watching this, you're probably watching on a replay. But been in business for decades, running my own show, and I'm the hubby. I think there's a cup for the wife. Got some tea there. And over the years, I've managed to screw things up, make mistakes, cause people to wreck relationships, diminish the productivity of my employees or subcontractors that I'm working with. And a lot of that has to do with getting offended. And it's sort of a national problem nowadays, offendedness. And it's sort of it's a wrecking ball, really. You know, offendedness is just a wrecking ball. If we could just learn how to not be offended, boy, would we pass on so much suffering, man. And it's an interesting dynamic. One of the things I've learned over the years is I've been at times extremely easily offended, and other times not as much. I think later in life, a lot of us guys and gals, we kind of, pardon me, my teeth make me burp. A lot of us learn that the ways we've been dealing with things over our lives times have worked. Other times, the way we've been dealing with life, it hasn't worked. And in this case, when it comes to being offended, that seems like something that for some people turns into a lifestyle. It turns into just a personality. Like that person, boy, they get jacked up so easy. You say a few things, next thing you know, they're just rah, 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 and, how dare you say that or whatever. The relationship you have with that person is going to dictate a lot of how that goes down. Obviously, if you're the boss and your subordinate employee or whatever gets offended, well, they better handle that in the most productive way. The boss may be a jerk. They may not be kind. They may be impatient. They may be unruly, just terrible. And it's your job, though. So how are you going to handle that? How are you going to handle that relationship? How are you going to respond to your boss when he's being an a-hole, or a b-hole or c-hole, whatever? Not so easy. But sometimes, we hit a certain limit, and that's it. And we say, you're an a-hole. Cheers. I'm out of here. I'm going to go find another job. Other times there's situations where you can't really do that. You just got to swallow it. And so I think there's a place where being offended is sort of a natural, normal response to stuff. But what I've discovered over the years is that being easily offended is just not a good place to be. And so why is that? Why are we so easily offended at times? And I think it has to do with our ego. Now, all you guys hearing me talk to you about stuff, you may have your own interpretation, maybe your own understanding, maybe a different opinion. That's cool. I'm just talking about my own experience here. And what I've noticed is that there's a process I go through. And when someone says something to me and it's kind of plucking my strings and stuff, it's sort of like they're putting something out there, and there it is. It's a pencil, and they put it out there. Okay. You say something to me, and there it is. It's between us. You said something, I heard it. Now I can pick up that pencil and be offended, or I can just leave it on the ground, and I can allow that to flow past me. Sort of the, I don't know if it's judo, the martial art that uses the energy of the opponent to their advantage. So we find an offense coming at us. It's put down on the ground between us, and we need to leave it there. Ideally, leave that offense between you, and don't come back with, oh yeah, well, I'm going to offend you back. Okay. So now we got two things sitting on the ground. We got We got two things, and now we're picking things up. They're going to pick up their offense. I'm going to pick up mine, and now we got two things that are going at each other. And this is a destruction process. I don't think there's anything really constructive that happens when we are in the offendedness phase. And man, did we see a lot of videos and continue to see videos about stuff like that, where somebody got offended and they got upset. And this isn't the same as defending yourself against attacks, but when it's words, we do have the option to restrain and to not respond. And it is human to get our emotions up when we're plucked and we're harmed. Words can hurt. Words can hurt. No question. The sticks and stones can break my bones kind of thing we've heard all over the years. I can tell you, and many of you out there who listen to me, you can say, you know what, I would have rather had my bones, my arm broke than to have to sit and listen to the bully at school berate me in front of the rest of my peers. That cut me into little bits and pieces and just savaged my soul, basically. It was bad. And those kind of injuries can go on for a long time, even a lifetime. Not a good thing. So I'm not diminishing the reality of that kind of treatment, inhumane, if you will, in a way that human beings treat each other. And so one of the things that's helped manage that and to reduce my sensitivity to that, getting to a solution. So what do we do? Okay, I don't like to be offended. I don't like people calling me names and it can be a tonality. It doesn't have to be a name. It can be just, a sleight of hand, a look. I remember my brothers, man, growing up, the oldest of 5 kids. Oh my gosh, they just say something and just make a funny little twitch or a whatever. It was just like it just bugged me. It was just, I felt, I was offended. And a lot of that has to do, again, I think, in terms of our foundations, is where we are in ourselves. Who are we with ourselves? Are we insecure? Do we have a sense of self-esteem that's a balanced one? Or is it way out there? Basically talking about our egos. So especially if you're in business and you're an entrepreneur, you got to have enough ego and ego strength or power or foundation to be able to step into the void and claim stuff, and that you're going to provide a service or a product to someone, and you're going to act like you know what you're doing, and hopefully you know what you're doing. And so there's a personality foundation, I guess you would say, that you have to operate from. You have to have a healthy ego. Sometimes that healthy ego can, a healthy ego is ideal, obviously. An unhealthy ego is where your ego is now false or fake. You puff it up, you act it out, you push it forth, and it's an act. Foundationally, really deep down, you're insecure. You got a weak foundation. You haven't resolved stuff with your old man, let's say. My dad was a psychiatrist. He did the best he could as a dad, and he was working with the tools that he had, and he did a great job in many ways, but all dads fall short. I'm a dad. I got 2 boys, and I dropped the ball big time. And I'm in the process now. One's 26, one's 23, of trying to create an environment where the relationships can be healed. And so we end up in our lives in a place based on what happens to us and how we respond to that. The point I'm making today or tonight, as you're listening to this, is offendedness is a dangerous trait to feed into, to start building it up as a solid little puffed out chest, little voice on top of you it's ready to punch back when someone offends you or whatever. It takes a lot of courage in many respects not to take the bait, not to pick this thing up. Don't pick up the offense. Let it roll past you. And the hard part is sometimes the comments that are made against us are true, and a lot of times ego defenses, we react, we reflex, our reflexes kick back and we say stuff. And I've done that, I don't know how many times, but what I'm finding in my older age is it's a really great thing to not have to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to pick up the offense and then go, oh, look at it, and then punch back with my offense in response. In business, the business builders, I think, that are long-term effective most often are people who understand that process and for sure treat people with dignity and respect. There's a sovereign soul person here before you. And when you're communicating to them, you want to try and show respect if at all possible. Everybody gets frustrated at times. And if you do, the answer to that situation is you apologize. One of the most powerful things that have happened between me and loved ones that I know is when they've recognized things and said, you know what, I was wrong. I shouldn't have talked to you that way. I'm sorry, man. My bad. And then that's when you can actually maybe let go of that offense. You can put it back down. Sometimes that apology doesn't even come in the form of words. It's maybe just a look, especially in families, right? If you run a business, you're in a family and it's this particular type of family, right? So you want to try and understand that in that family structure or human beings and stuff, you want to watch how you treat each other. So watching out for offendedness is really important to get a handle on. Check your ego at the door is one of the phrases we hear when you're coming into maybe a training or something like that, and you're there to learn stuff. That's just an important thing to try to do. So just wanted to talk real quick about offendedness. It's a wrecking ball in relationships. It's not good for your business either. It's going to mess up your business relationships, your contractors, your suppliers, whatever you've got in your business relationships going on. Treat people with dignity and respect. For me, a foundational aspect of it, as I tend to speak of when I'm talking to you guys, is having some kind of a God foundation. You need something that says, my identity is not in my performance, not in my good looks, because both those things can go away with an injury or you get old. I used to have hair. I miss my hair. I still miss my hair. But anyway, handsome guy, handsome, beautiful girl, whatever. And those things fade in time. And so you don't want to build your house on those things. You want to have a foundation that you can stand on. And when you have your identity in something bigger than you, that's a great place to be. So for me, that's the God thing. And, getting the identity of God. You're made in the image and likeness of God. You're a unique creation. You're not an accident, no matter what the circumstances. And you have a purpose and there's meaning here for you to develop and move into going forward. So get that foundation solid. Your ego gets put in check. You start to relax. You're humbling yourself before something bigger than you, again, on the spiritual realm. And learn how to take and watch those offenses come. Don't pick them up. Don't pick them up. Let them just flow past you and chill out. And you're going to be a happier person. Your employees, your suppliers, your subcontractors, your clients, your customers, your prospects, the whole family, again, in the business realm is impacted by your easily offendedness kind of dynamic. If you've got that in there, it will blow your business right out of the water and it'll be nothing. It'll just be a smoldering pile of rubble if you are a person that gets easily offended. So really important to keep the offendedness in check. And you're going to be a better parent, father, brother, sister, son, daughter, if you can really get that thing dialed in. It's not easy. Sometimes you got to go to counseling. You got to go find out all the wounds that are there deep down. And so I would encourage anybody out there who's listening to me, if you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, you're a human being. It's not just about all the business tips that have to do with business, marketing. All those things are logical and can be learned and applied and implemented. But if you don't have this idea of who you are, why you're here, what you stand on in terms of your foundation, it'll be hard to implement those things. You'll self-sabotage. These things happen. Maybe, hopefully, eventually you learn. You finally figure out, hey, no time for me to keep blowing things up with my offendedness. There's a lot of people in prisons that didn't understand how to restrain that impulse. They got offended and they lashed out and they couldn't control that energy. And again, a lot of it has to do with where we grew up and our dads, particularly fathers and sons, daughters and dads and moms. There's a whole history and a psychology and how we develop as human beings that comes out of our youth, out of our years in our families and the dysfunction there. And there are no families that escape dysfunction. We all got beat up and bruised a little bit in one fashion or another when we were growing up. So anyways, 15 minutes into this little chat, I just want to really help you guys understand the importance of learning how to not be offended, learning how to take the accusations and darts that are thrown at you from people. Sometimes they're doing out of their own woundedness or insecurities. Most of the time, that's probably the case. So we want to learn how to be restrained and take our time and be patient, and that includes with ourselves too. So, hey man, let me know what you think of these little business chats. I'm just trying to share a little bit of what I've learned over the years, and put it out there. Put it out there. So I'm a happier person than I've ever been in my whole life right now. Life is challenging. The world's going nuts. There's a lot of things that will generate fear and anxiety in us. And I'm less worried about stuff. I mean, I don't have spells and moments when I get concerned about things and have some fear creep in. But again, you want to get that spiritual foundation solid and keep taking all the scary, hard stuff that's, if you've thought about something into the future more than, I don't know, maybe an hour at the most, you want to think about the future, anticipate what you might need to do to adjust, prepare. Once you've done that, then let it go, especially these crazy big things that we can't, possibly handle or fix or change on ourselves. These are things beyond our control, as I always like to say. So be patient, be kind to one another out there. If you made a mistake and you blew up at somebody, just tell them you're sorry. Just say, I'm sorry, man. I'm stressing out, and that'll go a long way to healing relationships, improving the functionality of yourself in regards to your family and your business again. Businesses are made up of people, and you want to learn how to handle people, and you want to learn how to handle yourself. So watch the offendedness out there, guys, and you're going to have better success in your business and in life. So, all right, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you had a great Christmas. This is after Christmas that I'm filming this. Hope you have an awesome New Year. And let me know what you think of this. Ask me questions. There's some other topics you want me to hit. Obviously, I make rocks for a living, among other things. Been making a living with these hands for many, many years, 30, 40 years now, I guess it is. And so the practical reality of molding and shaping things into a particular form is something I know how to do. But molding and shaping ourselves into a particular form, the best form, the most ideal form, sculpting and shaping ourselves is awesome. And that's where we want to always be working, as well as the practical outward expression of our businesses and our lives, right? So anyway, there you go, Mr. Dave, chatting with you about business and how to consider the issue of offendedness. So if you want to learn more about this kind of thing, I've got blogs at www.daveRhenderson.com, www.daveRhenderson.com, 35 things there. And you can check those out. We'd love to know what you think of all that kind of ponderances on my part. So throw out there and ask God what you're supposed to do, what he wants you to do, he, she, them, or it, I like to say. And you have not, for you ask not. Ask questions. There is something beyond ourselves. We're not the end of the game. We're really just the beginning. So hope you have a great New Year's, like I said, and we'll talk to you soon. And let me know what you think. All right, Mr. Dave, doing a little live chat here on business. Have a good one. Bye-bye.